Welcome back to the 21-Day Sugar Detox. Today is day 1, post-detox. So your first day after the detox, one of the big things that comes up is how to sort of venture back into the real world post-detox, kind of given that your rules are no longer guiding what you're doing every day. And obviously you kind of have free reign to do what you want once the detox is over. Now, if you're following along, you want to make sure that you're reintroducing foods on a schedule so that you can see truly how they affect you, or perhaps if they don't affect you in any negative way, then that's a huge win. You'll be super psyched to know that certain foods that you thought maybe were problematic perhaps aren't. So at this point, I think it's also important to keep in mind how to talk to different people now that your detox is over about the way that you're going to make food choices, given that the rules no longer apply, right? Now you're just set to kind of drive the car all on your own. And I think it's important to remember that when you do talk to other people who might ask you, how was your experience and what are you going to do differently, to just be super honest with them about it. I also think it's important, while you're being honest, not to be judgmental. So remember, this is a really common thing that could happen, let's say in a break room in your office. And if you're going to say something like, now I realize that there were salad dressings that I was eating that had a lot of added sugar, and I found that I can make salad dressing very easily at home or find sugar-free brands that I love. And it's an easy swap I can make, and that was something great that I learned on the program. It's important that you just have a little bit of situational awareness where you understand, if your coworker is currently pouring a bunch of salad dressing onto their salad and you know that that brand is loaded with added sugar, just kind of tread lightly, because the last thing you want to do is make someone feel like they're on the defensive in that moment. You want to be really open and just talk about your own experience without creating this tension in the room about it. Another thing that can come up after the detox is that, let's just say you reintroduce dairy, for example. Well, somebody next to you might try and pass judgment or say, oh, I see, now that that program's over, you're having all the cheese you want. Just remember, keep your eyes on your own plate. If people are being judgy about what you're eating, or if you catch yourself watching what other people are eating and you feel this sense of, you've learned how much that food impacts you and you just have this inkling that you want to try and share it with them in that moment, remember to just keep your eyes on your own plate. Don't judge what other people are eating, and just try and deflect if it feels like they're trying to judge what you're eating. The big thing to remember for your post-detox time frame is to remember the transformative experience that you've had. I really think it's important to journal all about your experience, and this is where you could really pay attention to not just a quick one-liner of how you feel. This is where you really dive into looking back at the journaling you did throughout the whole program and seeing where you came from, taking inventory of how have you been sleeping, what have your moods been like, what have your food choices been like, at what point during the program did you feel like it was super hard, but at what point also did you feel like it kind of got easier? So even though maybe it's never easy to turn down certain foods, you know what I'm talking about here, where the meals that you're eating and the way that you put snacks together and the way that you build a meal that'll make you feel satiated, all of that does get easier at different times for different people. So taking inventory of all of that and remembering to keep in mind the overarching positive transformation that you've experienced over the last 3 weeks, so that when those conversations come up, you focus on that. You don't focus on all the foods you didn't eat for 3 weeks. You don't focus on only the things that were challenging. You really can look at the entire picture and have an idea of what to share with others when you say, you know what? I learned so much about myself. I learned how to shop differently at the grocery store. I learned what foods make me feel good and which ones don't. And that is what will inspire others to take on this challenge as well and find out that same information for themselves. All right, you guys, that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow for day 23, or 2 days post-detox.